Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 55. I'm Michael Palisak, and this is the podcast called "I Just Got My Kid to Sleep." And I got him to school again. This is 3 weeks in a row where I've made we might have to change our branding soon because I just got him to school. And actually, I tried to take a nap after school. My world is changing. It's not falling apart. I won't say it's falling apart, but I'm not staying up late unless I have to. I've got a lot of good changes going on. I asked about shelves last week for shower curtains, and I got some good information. My friend Allie reached out and said there's some options. I just put some books underneath my trophies, and yeah, that's War and Peace, which I'm currently reading. Um, it's been a couple years. It was gifted me, and this is the second or third copy. I'm not gonna not finish it. It's just it got to the point where it was like the war part, and I was like, well, I wasn't as into that part as the peace part. So it just took me longer to get through war, like it does in real life. Um, but now it's at peace. I think Napoleon's done, and then I'll finish the book. But I travel with it a lot, so it gets kind of destroyed. So this is my second copy. That's a good tip for all the authors out there. If you want to write a book and sell a lot of physical copies, uh, well, I don't know if it'll work, but for me, it will work. What if your demographic is me, you can make it a long book, and then when I travel with it, it'll get like torn up, and then I'll have to get another copy, and that could be really good, because then you sell two for one person. That's a 2-for-1 on your end. Usually you have to do 2-for-1s on my end, where I get 2-for-1. And yeah, but that's not. But a lot of people, when I first started traveling, one of my friends that I'd met said that she would never travel with a book that big because it's just bad square footage in your luggage. But I was an English major, and I just don't believe in not having prejudice. I don't not doing a book because it's big. So I just bring, especially that was more for Harry Potter, and I finished those much faster. I don't, maybe the translation was easier from British, but those were really good books. Did you read Harry Potter? I just realized this recently that Harry Potter isn't big with young people these days. I thought I was young, but I am. I think compared to the olds. But I did a show recently with a very funny comedian named Mackenzie, and she's very young, like early 20s, I think, maybe, yeah. And she was saying that Harry Potter isn't in their generation because the movies came out before them, so you have to have read the books, which I completely understand because that'd be like, I guess, if the movies came out. If you're 20 now, I mean, you're born in 2005, so the movies were coming out when you were a baby. So that'd be like if, but I like Back to the Future. I just think maybe the books are better. I don't know. It's just hard for me to imagine. I was talking to a friend, and her son had just read the first Harry Potter book, and they were so excited because that's like a good thing for a kid to read, and I was impressed too because I didn't read that book till college. It didn't come out until college. I've always felt connected to Harry Potter because it's how good of a book it is. But it made me make connections that probably aren't real. Like I did research. It came out, I think, the first one when I was college or high school, and I remember going back and finding out. Which, if you read this isn't a Harry Potter podcast, but if you read the play, Harry's older than me, but in the book, he was my age when she was writing it. So I kind of felt like she was writing about me. And my letter came in, and my parents just didn't tell me I was a wizard. But that's probably what everyone thinks. I'm a Gryffindor. Other people have said I'm a Hufflepuff, which I used to take offense to, but now I don't. But I get to decide. Harry got to decide. I'm gonna decide. Anyway, today is Tuesday. I just got my kid to sleep. Episode 55. Harry Potter, the old Harry Potter, War and Peace. I bet when J.K. Rowling was reading Harry Potter, reading it, writing it. Maybe she thought about War and Peace a little bit for sure. I would like to know that. I was an English major because in college, you have to like learn about a lot of your major, you know? That's the main thing you focus on is your major. That's why it's called major. And then if you get a minor, that's something you're focused on less. And my major was English because I liked to read. And I felt like if I was going to read like all of the really good books, I would want to do it in a classroom setting where I would get something in return. Like I definitely would do it in college. And then I kept doing it afterwards. It's taken me a little longer. If you're in college and you have to read War and Peace, you can't wait 3 years. But anyway, so we got War and Peace here holding up one of them. This all comes down. This is a movable set. I thought about matching socks during this episode, but I didn't. I thought about it, and then that thought went away. So maybe next week. I don't know how that would feel for everybody. To be on my time when I'm giving you your time, like I was thinking about that recently because I got this big mountain of clothes that are clean. They're clean, and not to insult mountains. I know mountains are real and they're big, but this mountain, if I was using a metaphor, I would only call it a mountain. I'm not making a molehill out of a mountain. It's a mountain. A molehill of clothes. Well, you don't want moles around your clothes. But anyway, I got a big mountain of clothes. And that's pretty much the only thing that's separating me from success in my day is knowing that there's this mountain of clothes. And I get intimidated because there's clothes, and the clothes make it really big. But the real issue is the socks because I want to match them. I didn't go through all this work to like clean these clothes and then to not be able to reach in and find matched socks. So I got to match them. And I have a 6-year-old son. I just got him to sleep last night. And is that getting old? Should I stop talking about it if I don't do it? I think I'm going to try to get him to bed really early next week so I can do it. Anyway, I don't want to like make this podcast about how it's not what it used to be. I want it to be what it is. And I was talking to a friend recently and she was like, do you record a couple in a day? I'm like, what are you talking about? It's called I Just Got My Kid to Sleep. Okay. You can't just bank those and put them out whenever you like. You got to record it right after you get your kid to sleep or right after you take him to school, after you try to take a nap. You got to take care of your health. It's 2025. Whoops. I've been through a pandemic. We all have. Let's just be a little kinder to ourselves. I had this all set up so perfectly audio wise. Are we still recording? Can you still hear? So anyway, I just got him to school. But yeah, my laundry thing is a whole thing. And so he has a lot of different colored socks because when he was a baby till age now, I just thought it would be more fun to wear socks that weren't one color. And it is. It's fun every day, every moment, except like it's so fun to match 2 socks and then put them on. And then it's like, that's a special day. It's not just another day. It's the kind of warm socks with blue stripes, and blue's his favorite color. Blue might not seem like a big deal to you, but to a child, their favorite color, I mean, maybe it's just my child, but it's crazy. It's like St. Patrick's Day was kind of a struggle. Like I had to remind him a couple times, like we're wearing green because this is the holiday. I didn't go with the pinch. Someone told him that he would get pinched if he didn't wear green. And I think that kind of just started because kids would just want to wear their favorite color all the time. I mean, there's not a lot of difference between like young kids and gang members, I guess. Anyway, so there's a lot of socks over there and I want them to all match. And I do feel a lot of joy when they do match. And I have almost all of my clothes clean. So I know now that if I can't find a match, then we're done. There's no more of that sock. I'll put it in a pile and keep it for about 5 or 10 years to see if it comes up. But really, that sock, I could just give it away. It'll probably be 10, maybe 15 years. But I'm done with it, for real. I'm okay wearing mismatched. I'll wear mismatched socks. Like I have some Nike socks. I like to wear a Nike sock. I was a 90s was a great time for the swoosh. Okay, that was a status symbol in middle school. If you had some socks with a swoosh on it, I'm trying to make a swoosh in my hand, and all you can see is my hairy wrist. There's no reason to get that detail, but that swoosh was like top. It was like the best. Like I can't even describe. I remember one day I went to public schools. There were no uniforms, and I had like these sweet Syracuse basketball shorts from when the Elastics off. I had to give them away, but I remember them so fondly. And like basketball shorts when you're a kid of a team, like the replica was just like wow, you know. And I had those on, and then I had these black Nike socks, and there was a swoosh. There was a swoosh on the socks, and people that's what was worn. Like watch old footage, and so I was like, I'm gonna wear these Nike swoosh basketball socks with these Syracuse basketball shorts, and I don't even know what the shirt is. It doesn't even matter at that point. If I'm walking down the hallway, there's gonna be such confidence in my. I'm trying to. I got like this little bit of part of my hair that's just sticking up. It's fine. But now that I call it out, everyone's just gonna see. Even in the audio, you're just like I can see it. It's okay. It's all. I don't like watching me fix my hair. I don't think it's a fix thing. My hair is fine. One time I was in a store and I took my hat off because it was cold outside, not cold inside. That's what you do. And I went to buy something. This lady she was like a younger lady, and she like sold me what I was purchasing, and then she was like, "Your hair," as if like I could fix it, and I was just like, "Yeah." Like there's this physics involved where it's just like it's not going away. It's much better. When I was a kid, it was a bigger problem because I would go to a barber shop and they didn't really take physics in. I'm sure they took physics, maybe I don't know, but they didn't really factor it in to my hair. Like uh, it was just they would just sort of shave it around and then the top would just stick up, and I've always been dealing with that ever since. But now I get really good haircuts from Dina, Hair by Dina. If you're in California, make the trip wherever you are in the state. It's worth it. But anyway, I was talking about. Oh yeah, so I would wear these. I had these black Nike swoosh. The socks were black and the swoosh was gray, and I had them on. And my mom never woke up for breakfast. She was a very good mom, but my older brother apparently said that she was in the way one time when he was little, getting ready for school, which sounds like something he might say in a loving way. And she was like, I'm out. And ever since that day, I can't remember her being awake for breakfast in school. It's because she was up so late doing stuff around the house or whatever. And also school started so early. We had to take the early bus, I was told. Anyway, I'm sure she was up when I was super young, but my dad would be up, because that's just what he's an early person. And my dad never said anything about style, ever. Never, ever, ever, ever. He just it didn't ever seem like he thought about it. It was something we didn't talk about as children. It wasn't ever really considered. But he looked at my black socks and my white basketball shorts. And he's like, you can't do that. And so I changed them. But that's a good lesson, because he didn't understand the power of the swoosh, and Michigan basketball wore black socks and they were yellow and blue, like they didn't know. And that's a good lesson because it's good to know that when someone's giving you advice on something, they're not you and they're not in your sitch. They're not in your situation. So they are coming from their perspective. This is all obvious stuff, but it's something I don't think about because I don't give anybody advice really, except on here and a lot. But like, I feel like when I do, it's because I really know what I'm talking about, and I've taken in all the angles, and usually I preempt. No, I go before my advice. I prep my advice. Where are the words at, brain? Words. where the words I pre blah. Before I say the advice, I say something else, and I say also I have no idea what I'm talking about. This is your life, which it's kind of stupid because if you're gonna give advice, stand behind it, but also like it's true. The advice is don't listen to me, but listen to me. And I think that makes people listen to me more. Like whenever someone's giving me advice, but first they're like, I have no idea what I'm talking about. I'm like, I gotta hear what they say because they don't even believe in themselves and they're giving me advice. So this has to be good advice. You ever go there? So yeah, I didn't wear the black socks to school and I think I should have. I think I would have had fun because I felt good in them. You got to go with your feelings, your heart, your life, your love. That's the thing. It's right in here. That's your trachea. But your heart, your love. Anyway, that's the thing. You know what you like. You know what people like. Kids know. My son would never, ever, if my son wore something in school and I was like, he would just be like, I'm doing it every day now. We're just very different, I guess. But anyway, we got War and Peace here, the Harry Potter of the 1800s. I don't think there was much magic, but I feel like Voldemort, I said his name. If you're young, you probably don't get it. But was probably, and Napoleon could have been, kind of similar. Napoleon's short, Voldemort's like dead 6 times by the end of it. I'm giving stuff away. And then this other book, I don't know if you can see, my other shelf is the Phantom Tollbooth, which, very different genres here. And not that this is a literature podcast, but I'm just dealing with what's around me right now, everybody. Okay. I just got my kid to sleep or to school. And I just made a dentist. This episode is called I Just Made My Kid's Dentist Appointment. Did you know that? That's what I just did. I just made my kid's dentist appointment. I realized after I tried to take a nap that I was going to do my podcast. And I was like, you know what I should do first? If I'm I should probably make his dentist appointment. He had a dentist appointment in December. They tell him to go 4 times a year, but my dentist is like, he doesn't need that, which that's advice. But so I didn't rush to change it because we were out of town during the first one. And now he has a dentist appointment tomorrow at 10. But they said the alert is going to come in at 9:30. So I was like, is it really at 9:30? I think they just want you there at 9:30 so they can hit the ground dentisting. And so now I have a little bit of stuff, because he starts school at around 9. And so if I drop him off at school, it'd be kind of weird to be like, here you go, I'll see you later. And then, hey, I need you again. Can I get Jack for 2 hours? But if I don't take him to school and take him straight to the dentist, he might get in early and then could be able to go straight to school. So that sounds like the best way. Anybody have advice on that? But I'll let the school know either way. Maybe they'll let me know. You know what? If we're going to be honest right now, and I don't think I have to worry about anybody from his school listening. But if they do, thank you. You're a great school. I think it's easier to go to the dentist first because that's just one stop. And 9:30 is later than 9. So it just takes a little pressure off. It's not even a wake up time at this point, everybody. It's just here's the thing. Jack got Fruity Pebbles for breakfast, right? That's why we're going to the dentist. No. Which Fruity Pebbles, no more high fructose corn syrup. Yeah, if I had the box, I would show it to you. I would show you the box. And I would tell you, this no more high fructose corn syrup. And there was a point in my life where I would celebrate this growth by this company that's making changes. But I can taste it, and I'm not a fan. It's also gluten-free. I don't know if it was always gluten-free. Some things are gluten-free. Does it look like I'm sitting weird now? It's because I stretched my leg out. I want to be more direct. I'll stretch my leg out this way. My leg was going to sleep. Just my quad. My quad was going to sleep, and the rest of my body was awake. What are you doing, quad? Anyway, there was a point in my life where I'd be like, way to go, no more high fructose corn syrup, but I can taste the difference. And oh yeah, with with uh with the whole gluten free thing, I'm like, I feel like it always was, I don't think it's made out of rice. I don't think they're just injecting gluten into, I don't think there's gluten in rice. Someone fact checked me on that. Flamingo, you got that one? There's a stuffed flamingo on the stage. That's not going to get old, right? Talking to stuffed animals. I um I feel like it's a stupid advertising thing. I hate stupid advertising stuff. I hate stuff that's like clearly this is just a thing and you're using it to sell your thing. Stop selling me stuff. See, I might like Harry Potter. I might be older than the kids that don't like Harry Potter, but I don't want to be sold stuff anymore. That's it. Just tell me the things. I guess people do want to know if things are gluten free. I just like gluten. So maybe that's a deterrent. I don't know. Have you ever had gluten-free pizza? Domino's has it. And I could get it on the road because I was like, oh, this is a way to eat something. I didn't really understand what gluten was. I was like, I can eat pizza, but not get gluten. And I was like, I don't know really what that is. But I felt better about it. It was a little more expensive. So I was like, oh, this is extra healthy. This is like Whole Foods Domino's pizza. But then I was like, it's not the same. So what do we do? And for a while I was like, but it's still really good. And it was good. I do recommend it for gluten-free pizza, but I don't know. I think I've given up. Not on everything, but just on that. I feel like if that's an issue, I had allergies growing up, and none of them were gluten. I was told. I'm sure some people might be like, Michael, you definitely. Just look at you. Look at you. I love it when people can be like, just you're allergic. Do you ever get sensitivity tested for food? It's just like you probably shouldn't eat anymore. No, like one time I got, and it was just like everything that I ate was just like, yeah. I think it's just because like my body doesn't, my body's just a sensitive body. It's a sensitive human being. What are we doing here, right? That's just the way it is. Anyway, I might go see a movie today. The Black Bag. Does anybody want to go? I feel like this is where I'm at as a human. And maybe you guys can, am I in a shadow? I think it's just because it's really light outside. I'm not used to doing these during the day, even though it's my third one. Here's where I'm at. Maybe other parents are here. I don't really plan stuff well with people and like it. I kind of like taking care of the basic stuff and then being like, I'm going to do this. Do you want to come? And I feel like sometimes people get offended. Maybe not, but I feel like phone calls are like that a lot. Do you guys like talking on the phone? I don't, texting's fine. It just feels like work because I do so much work on my phone, my smartphone. I have a smartphone. It's so smart. It's so smart. Are you moving away from me, Mike? Don't move away from me. The microphone, not I think I just angled it back. Everybody who listens to this, you are such an angel or saint or good person. There's just not a lot of production quality. I'm going to sit on a pillow next time. Here's the thing. This is a real thing. This is a real life Michael Palisak. I like to call people on the phone because texting feels like work. It feels like if I'm talking to you on the phone and you say something to me, I'm not going to just forget to respond for 2 weeks and then feel bad. I think that's the main thing is that with texting, there's always this chance that how does the conversation end? When the phone call ends, it's like a goodbye, or if you're my son, it's just like click, I taught him how to, he likes to, we still have birthday cake left over. What am I doing? What kind of life are we living? And when he's 6 and I froze it, so it's still good. I think I haven't Googled how long you can freeze it for. But Google, quite a search engine. I that's the one I use, no more Jeeves for me. My favorite part of the little games sometimes they'll put in there on the Google homepage. So when he has birthday cake for dessert, when it's not his birthday, he wants to FaceTime grandma and grandpa so we can sing to him again. Cause I think that's a really fun thing for a kid. He also had a birthday cake as a gift. Like it was a Melissa and Doug toy. This wooden birthday cake, which we still have if anybody would like it. He doesn't want me to get rid of anything, but I can find it. I filed it. I think he's just used to it being fun. And also, my parents didn't make it for his birthday party. I think part of it is him being like, "This is what you get," you know. But they love it. They love singing to him. It's fun. We light a candle. It's beautiful. Every day that I'm a dad of a 6-year-old is like going to Disneyland without going to Disneyland. It's like super fun, parent and kid fun stuff. That's where you're at. Did you know that's what Disneyland was supposed to be? Walt Disney, he's the creator of Disneyland. That's why his name's in the title. It's not like America, where Amerigo just discovered it somehow and got his name on there. Did we never dispute that? You know, why is Amerigo, why are we called America? Who's Amerigo Vespucci? He gets all these continents. He is not Ferdinand. I know Columbus wasn't a good guy, but like, anyway, being Disney was at Griffith Park at the carousel, you know, the things that go up and down, and with his kids and with his kids, that's where he was. And this is the story I had heard. I'm gonna misquote it a little bit, but he was sitting on the carousel or watching the carousel with his kids, and he was like, "There's got to be something better than this." Like, it's something like, and carousels are pretty fun, but that's what made him like want to make rides for Disney. Like, the whole point of Disney is to be like, this is fun for everybody. And then there got to be lines, and it's just like, well, I'm not having as much fun right now. So, but lines are also part of it. It's part of it. So anyway, being a parent of a 6-year-old, it feels like it's all that stuff. Everything we do, for the most part, feels like fun for both of us. But maybe it's just because I'm a child still. That's a big thing about my generation, young generations. I'm sure you're going to grow up way too fast because of everything you had to go through during the pandemic. But I never, like, Billy Madison was a movie when I was a child about a man that didn't grow up, and we looked up to him. And this is where we are now. So now, and for decades, it was looked down upon, it was frowned upon, it was made fun of, relationships were ended. But now that I have a 6-year-old, I'm killing it, you know? He's like, "Do you want to watch the show?" Yeah, I do, because I want to know what happens in Paw Patrol. He totally got me yesterday. We were going to watch TV before we got a bath. And I was like, all right, we can watch one episode. And we looked through our Paramount Plus account. I'm just saying brands now. I'm not saying that they're not sponsors. Because why, clearly you can't tell, but I need to buy some rings for my shower curtain. It's starting to fall. So we're trying to raise money. Let's get some sponsors. And we went, there's a new season of Paw Patrol on Paramount Plus. And people might say 6 is a little old for, I don't think it is. I think 7, there's a rating of TV called Y7, and those shows are good for 7-year-olds. And he's not 7 yet, so everything that's not that is good for him. And I like it. He likes it. There's going to be a time where we still like it, and we might be like, well, we should probably watch something else. That's what I don't really understand about growing up. Like, why do we have to give up the stuff that's still fun just to do the thing that other people our age do? You know? And as an adult, that's like, I don't know. I feel like that's like drinking. I feel like you can't do this other fun thing because we're going to go to this bar and drink. And I don't really drink. So if you don't drink, then what do you do? You know, you go movies, but you can go anyways. There's nothing wrong with enjoying Disneyland with your child, is what I'm trying to say. And everything else, everything, the foods, the games, it's all, I'm sure if I had like 7 kids, it would probably be really fun too. But right now with 1, it's just like, I'm getting it all in. Anyway, Disneyland was invented to make it fun for everybody. And that's what, like, 6-year-olds. I feel like 6 is a good age. Nothing is like really boring. That's the only problem about 4, is that sometimes their threshold of boring at 4 is they don't even understand. Like, do you have kids? If you don't, it still makes sense. Don't stop listening because of that. You're doing great. You're probably so joyful on your hike. So do you remember when you taught your kid tic-tac-toe? Do you remember that? I remember. We were in Medora, North Dakota, 2 years ago, August, for 5 weeks. He was there for a couple of weeks. And at the playground, they have a really cool playground that that's awesome. And they have so much fun stuff for everybody. Like it's like a castle. There's a lot of cool stuff to run through, and we have that was there. But they also have a tic tac toe thing where you flip the things around and play tic tac toe, and he had never played tic tac toe before, and so we were playing tic tac toe. I was teaching him tic tac toe. My cousin Joe was there. He can vouch for this story. Shout out to Joe. He was a hero that week. He played with Jack while I was on stage. It was great. Anyway, um, when I play tic tac toe as an adult, like we play a couple times when I play with my adult friends, and then we're done. But like a 4-year-old who never learned tic tac toe, like we played, I think it was an hour and a half of just tic tac toe. There's not a lot of different things you can do. It's just tick and then tack and then toe. And then there's pretending like, where do I put it? And then I threw so many matches. Some parents I feel like think it's good to win because that's life, you know? And I feel like he has that and he has those people in his life that aren't just going to let him win. And I'm not one of those people. He wins a lot. And it was an hour and a half. And I remember laying on the ground at some point, just like letting him do it. And then I'll go back to laying on the ground because I was so mentally fatigued of the monotony behind this tic-tac-toe game. I was just like, I can't. I just can't. And I could have been like, we're done, we're going home, but it was the middle of the day. He wasn't really napping those days. When they travel, who knows if they're going to nap. So I was just like, we're there. And it's those moments, I feel like, when they're on the screens, when they want to play video games, that I want, you know? I want to go back to the days where we're just laying on the ground in the park because we're so bored with this game that's keeping him alive. That's like, that he's loving, you know? When he was 3, we had a game where I just had these different colored balls in my hands and this little like truck, and it played music, and I would just sing about the ball and the color and be like, this is it, you know? And I loved it because I love doing nothing with him. Because I've been told that's good to do nothing with your kids. Just be there and just do monotonous, not really boring stuff, but like stuff that kind of makes no sense. And so now when he's like wanting to beat Paper Mario or whatever, I'm like, let's just do a thing that makes no sense. I want every day to have a little bit of the Mad Tea Party of like, this is just crazy nothingness. And we're going to see how that goes long term, like how that affects him. But I really have enjoyed the short term. Like I wake him up in the morning telling him that it's my turn to play my song as we drive to school, because I know he's going to be like, no. And he smiles, and it works every time. I know like some parents might be like, good morning, I love you. I say, hey buddy, I think it's my turn to play my song on the way to school. And he's like, no. And he doesn't know that what's more important to me than listening to one of my songs on my phone is seeing him smile right when he wakes up. And not that he has to be happy or smile all the time, but like that's my favorite song, is seeing him laugh. Because to me, the rivalry is fake about music in the car. To me, it's like, yeah, I do get tired of Gummy Bear songs over and over. Not the cartoon, but there's this Gummy Bear DJ guy. He's animated. He's a bear. He has red shorts, and you kind of see his underwear, which is weird. But Jack, that's all we've listened to for the last 2 years. So I do get kind of tired of it. But I do love, more than anything else, him being like, no, it's my turn. Now he does a thing where he asks for my phone, which I know you're not supposed to do, but it's for a joke. And as a comedian, I have to support these things. And he's like, he wants my phone while we're driving. I'm like, okay. And so he gets my phone, and then he knows it's my turn after one Gummy Bear song. So I go to press my song on the dash, no phones while driving. And he changes it because he has my phone back there, and he just laughs. And that is the best song. That's the best song. And I just realized that. But yeah, so 6 is fun. Yeah. Where were we? What were we talking about? Through any of this. Episode 55. I just got my kid to sleep. Hello, sleepers. Okay. We were talking about, we covered a lot. We went to the Loony Tunes. This is, I think, where this is coming from. This is where his childhood, this is really coming in handy. His childhood. Which I think, as a parent, you really want, you know? You give a lot into it, and it's nice to get something back. You know, like in Field of Dreams, the guy tears down all of his corn, right? Not all of it. There's some left. They don't talk about the corn that was left over that they walk out of. Was that some other guy's property? And was he upset about ghosts walking through his property? Or was that just, this is how big this fence is, you know? This is how big the field is. Like, how did he get the dimensions, right? Did he go by like a normal field now or one in the 1900s, early 1900s? Anyway, I read that book too, Field of Dreams. It's actually written by a guy named, I believe it's W.P. Kinsella. And he, in the book, he goes to see an author named J.D. Salinger, who's real. And in the movie, it's James Earl Jones, because I don't think the Salinger world would allow him to use him as a character. But Kinsella used Salinger's name because Salinger used his name in a book. But I think he did it by accident. It just happened to be his name. So it kind of felt. But it was, anyways, great book. But the guy tears apart his corn, right? He destroys his corn for this field. And then these baseball ghosts come play. And then at the very end of the movie, he's like, well, what's in it for me? And he's like, what are you talking about? What's in it for you? As if like, that's not a reason why we do anything. Well, I guess the message is that it's the process. That's the advice, is like, you did it because it was great, you know? Yeah, I'm just realizing that that's what the movie's about. But then he gets to play catch up with his dad, so he still gets something out of it. I don't know if Jack really wants to play catch with me. I try it. He does. He's young. Anyway, you when you have a kid, you like destroy all of your cornfields, and you put toys everywhere, and then finally something's in it for you. The Looney Tune movie comes out, and I get to be like, hey, do you want to do this? And he's like, yes. And now I get to be a dad, and I get to see a thing that I would want to see. And I get to walk into that movie theater with a kid. You know how many adults were there without kids? Almost the whole theater. And Jack would talk to me during the movie. And at first I was like, oh, we got to be a little quiet. But I was like, it's 2:30 on a Sunday. This is for kid. This is the kid time to see the movie. If you're here and you're upset about a child wondering if Porky Pig and Daffy, why they're not like nice to each other right now, that's the kid, you know? This is the kid movie. Anyway, that was really fun. The Looney Tunes movie is something I never had, right? There was Space Jam, but that was about Michael Jordan, you know? We could say it's about, but it was like, there's a movie, whatever. But this was all animated, full feature Looney Tunes, you know? And I grew up with like Tiny Toons, but like I still knew about Looney Tunes, and seeing like their faces on a huge screen, it felt like I was watching an old friend, you know, who made it big time and was in a movie. Like Daffy killed it. I still think he's the actor too. So that was really, really fun, going into a child movie that I would see anyway, but with being able to be like, yeah, he loves it, you know, when really Jack just wants the Slurpee, you know. I think he liked seeing it too. But when I told him I was thinking about taking him, he's like, do they have Slurpees? I'm starting to worry about this sugar thing. Anyway, so yeah, we saw the Looney Tunes movie. Very funny, very original. It used old character, you know, Daffy Duck and Porky Pig. But the animation was like it was like when I was a kid, which I loved. And Jack had never seen a cartoon movie before. He just thought movies were all like real pictures of people. Because like that's what they do these days with all the Disney movies. They make them into like like video, like at like real. They look real, you know. Paw Patrol, like they all look pretty real. The 3D, they don't. My nephew did a science project and how like younger kids can't tell the difference between AI pictures and normal pictures. I noticed that with Jack because he's like, I've never seen a cartoon as a movie before, and I was like, well, you saw Inside Out, and he's like, that's a movie. Like he doesn't when he sees the not that that's not even AI, but he sees like the dimensional stuff. He's like, oh, that's just people. Um, like when do kids stop being crazy? You know. Anyway, Looney Tunes movie was great. Oh, I know what I was talking about. This finally, you know, so many people have been listening for all this time to not know. I feel like when I drive my car, I call people because I like to talk. Because texting, like I said, I don't know how to end a text conversation. Here's what I do now. Is this appropriate? Someone will text me something. I'll text back. When it feels like it's about over, I'll just like what they said. But sometimes they don't have an iPhone, and it's just like, well, how can we be friends? Because then it just says I liked it, and it's different than that thumbs up. I could just leave it hanging, but I'm not that. I'm not like cool enough to just leave a text hanging from someone who I respect, right? I gotta closure. I gotta closure it. Or if they like what I said, that's when I'm like, I get it. We're done. Is this weird? I feel like this is what it is. We text. I'm done texting. I like what you said. Goodbye. They like what I said. We're done. I also try to pay attention to how many messages they send me, because you can send everything in one message. I don't think there's any limits to that, But some people, they'll say one thing and then they'll send it and they'll send another message, which that's straight up confidence. You just sent me 2 messages. One of them has been unreplied to already. That's when I know send away. That's the sign, send away. But some people will text me while I'm driving and they know I'm driving to where they are. And I know they have talk to text. They know I have talk to text, but I don't really trust talk to text. How old am I? Do people just love talk to text? I just text to text. What's the point of talking to text? Just call me and we'll talk to talk, or we'll text to text. I don't need to talk to text or text to talk. Just talk to talk. But so that's why I like calling people on the phone. But I know that it seems like I've heard from people nowadays that it's more appropriate to text someone ahead of time and be like, hey, do you want to talk on the phone? Which as a girl, like a woman told me this when she talks to her friends, they text before because people still like talking, But as a guy, I can't. It just feels weird. I feel like this is how old I am. I feel like there's not that I need to have this sort of, I don't think it's masculinity, but there's something in me from as a child that wanted to talk to another guy as a friend is totally fine. You can talk. Not that it ever wouldn't be fine. It can totally be, but I'm just saying what I have in me that I'm fighting. Talking to your friend is totally fine. But sending him like a little message first, it feels a little bit like passing someone a note in class saying I like you, which is totally fine. It's just not something that was appreciated by guys growing. I never got a little written message from another man that said, do you want to get lunch? Do you want to sit next to each other at lunch? I never got that. That's just not something that I relate to. And so I feel like texting a guy to be like, do you want to talk? It just opens the gate for them to be like, no. I feel like there's part of me that feels like guys just don't ever talk to each other, that we just don't ever talk. And then if we do, it's just by accident and it's great and it's fun and we share a lot. But the idea of texting someone first, but I've had a lot of good conversations with men, So anyways, I call people while I'm driving, and then it either goes one of many ways. So it either they answer and they're also free and they're excited. There's a couple people, there's a comedian, very funny, named Jim Flanagan, who was very receptive to my calls. And I don't know if it's just, he's a really nice guy too, so he might be tired of it. But I also feel like he can not answer or tell me he's busy. I think that's the thing. And then I call so it's either like that, we talk and it's fine. Or it's like, hey, I'm busy. And that's fine too. But sometimes people answer because you're calling, because no one ever calls, right? And so they know that you're calling because something huge is going on. And then you're just like, oh no, I have 500 miles left. And they're just like, you can feel like you just destroyed your friendship. One of my good friends is married, and I called him because I hadn't talked to him in a long time, and I wanted to ask him about some stuff. And I called him, and he was at the grocery store with his wife, and he just answered. And I could tell in his voice that he wanted to talk to me. But I also could tell in his voice that his wife did not want him to talk to me right now because they had to talk. They're at the grocery store, they had to communicate about mangoes and do they have milk, And I get that, but I haven't called him back yet. I feel like I just need to text him like, hey, I'm free all the time. Let me know. I just haven't done it. I feel a little bit of, I think the sense of this is that I feel a little bit of guilt when when the only thing I can do is talk to you because I'm driving and you might have something going on and now you're talking to me and you're not doing anything. And I think I'd rather just never talk to anybody ever again. But sometimes I get tired, so I have to. Right? Or I just want to talk to people. I have one friend that I'd called and they were just like, I'm never driving. And I'm just like, you don't have to, just never answer, This is just the end of us. I used to really enjoy, before texting was big, calling my friends and hearing their voicemail. I really liked going to their voicemail because I have comedians as friends and they would have funny voicemails. And I enjoyed that. But now if I called them after not having called them for, since calling stopped, I don't want them to answer just because it's been so long and then be like one time I thought this was going to go better. One time I called a friend and I was like, just calling because I hadn't talked to him in a long time, but he was like on a road trip with he had other friends there. And he's just like, what do you need? And I'm just like, oh, nothing ever again. I could tell that he wanted to go and now we just don't talk ever. We'll figure it out. I'll figure it out. Okay. We're not done. We got a game. This is something we talked about before. So I probably should have done it earlier in the podcast because people might be listening to it. But this is a new segment. It's called How Long Did It Last? Okay, ready? How long did it last? How long did it last? Boom, contact solution. We're going to start using this today. And we're going to see how long it lasts. So that way, you at home or driving, you should listen to this while driving instead of calling people. That's why I love parents, because they'll just answer no matter what. And I can even tell that they want to go. And it's sometimes fun to see how long I can keep them on. Like I try to start out with topics that are less interesting and then drop some big ones as it gets closer to them hanging up. And it's just really nice. Oh, yeah. Jack... my parents would sing happy birthday to him and he would just hang up afterwards because he wanted to watch Wile E. Coyote on YouTube. Kids are getting into it. And I was like, no, you have to say something like, thanks for talking, I love you, or whatever. So now when we FaceTime, if there's, singing happy birthday, one of the multiple times they've done it, he just has his finger moved towards the thing. He's like, thanks for talking, I love you. And it was like, well, we can tell. Anyway. That was going back to something that I think I didn't get to. So this is Bosch & Lomb BioTrue, multi-purpose solution. It's multi-purpose. The only purpose I've found is to put contacts in it. But maybe you could, I wouldn't drink it. Oh, it does say it conditions and cleans and removes protein, disinfects, rinses, stores for soft contact lenses, including silicone hydrogel. Okay, this is what I'm talking about. Multi-purpose, it's contact solution. It does whatever it does, Is there a contact solution that doesn't clean or doesn't condition or doesn't remove protein or doesn't disinfect? Like who's paying $1 less so it doesn't disinfect, We could find purposes. Oh, this is multi-purpose apples. Yeah, you can eat it. You can also look at it if you like the color red. This is a multi-purpose apple. Anyway, I'm going to open it up tonight. I'm not going to open it up yet, but this is the day. Today is Tuesday, March. Oh, I forgot to look at the day. It's Tuesday and last Tuesday in March. Last Tuesday in March. Contact solution. How long did it last? How long did it last? Oh man, I made the sticky like that instead of like that. I'll put it right here. Or maybe I'll put it on this. I'll put it right here. I don't think it'll stick right there. We'll remember. I'll show it to you. Right now we're at 0. It's lasted completely. And then here's the thing for people playing at home. Basically what I use, if you have contacts, I change them about once a day. There's been a couple days where I don't put them in at all, but that's not a huge thing that I usually change them. I usually do the thing where you put a little in your hand and then you do this. You put a little solution in your hand and you go. You don't have to blow. That's just the sound that I pretend it makes to itself. And so that's when I use some, and then I pour some in there, and I usually rinse off the lids too. So this might go a little faster than someone who's a little more conservative with their contact solutions. So this is our first reoccurring. How long did it last? How long did it last? Bio true. This is not false. This is true. Bio. I'd love to see that pitch. We're going to call it bio true because your eyes are biology. But when you look into someone's eyes, you see true with bio true. Okay. So, yeah, that's that. This week, I'm in Virginia Beach doing a secret show in Virginia Beach, Virginia, and Charlotte, North Carolina. Also another secret show opening for Kathleen Madigan. It's just secret because I'm not advertised. I'm just the opener, but not just. It'll be fun. I do like 20 minutes, 25 minutes, and then I'll be pitching and slinging merch afterwards. Come say hi if you live in those areas. Next week I'll be in East Lansing, Michigan. Tickets just went on sale, so that should sell well 2 weeks out. And at Michigan State at the Wharton Center in like a little theater, and then the Jackson Lounge, which is fun. And then Friday and Saturday I'll be in Youngstown, Ohio, at Mark Tressel's house. No, I'll be at he used to coach Ohio State, and he was Jim Tressel, not Mark Tressel. Mark Tressman, Jim Tressel. These are some deep sports coach references. Not the TV show coach. So I'll be in Youngstown, Ohio at the Funny Farm, which, Friday, Saturday. Come on out. Youngstown. If you're in Pittsburgh, I'm not going to be in Pittsburgh for a while. Cleveland, I don't know when I'm going to be in Cleveland. Columbus, I don't know if Columbus is close to Youngstown. Daytona Beach, Florida, pretty far. Don't make that trip. But that's where I'm at. And then the next week, oh my gosh, Portsmouth, New Hampshire, at the Music Hall Lounge. It's a lounge. It's a music hall. It's got everything you need. There's a sandwich place down the street. I'll go in between shows. And then I'll be at Boonton Coffee. I should ask them how to say that before I say it so confidently. Boonton Coffee Company for 2 shows on Saturday. And then Stamford, Connecticut for an afternoon show on Sunday. Afternoon. It's afternoon. All right. Thank you for listening. This has been episode 55.